Chairman, distinguished delegates, fellow youth delegates, ladies and gentlemen, everyone must correct his or her own self. This is something more difficult to cope with, but it is not impossible. These were some of the words of wisdom from His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej of Thailand to his people. A brighter future for youth and the world cannot be achieved only by drafting resolutions and creating well-researched policies. It must also depend on how each and every individual must think and motivate positivity into action. On behalf of the youth of our country, my colleague and I are proud and thankful for the Thai government's continuous support for youth participation, development and opportunities. We are honoured to have this opportunity to share our ideas and visions on creating a sustainable future at a crucial time as the world finds itself at the economic and environmental crossroad. Mr. Chairman, there is nothing more plaguing to a young person's heart than insecurities in both their current and future status. Yet, in a world where industrial productivity allows us to produce medicines that help extend lifespans, famine and poverty are not uncommon to a large number of youth in many parts of the world. The explanation of this paradox lies in our very own sense of insufficiency, or in this interconnected world, in global insufficiency. Still, if we look at this connectedness in a positive manner, it would mean that we can also eradicate poverty by combining our positive actions to create a sufficient economy for the future. Sufficiency here does not entail self-sufficiency and becoming closed off from the world. It means, however, the employment of a sufficient heart, so that we can lead a reasonably comfortable life without excess or overindulgence in luxury. One must realize that with every excess we take, there is a possibility of sharing with those who do not have their needs met sufficiently. Sharing does not only have to come by financial means, it could also mean sharing of opportunities. The way financial economy is structured is not and will hardly ever be sufficient source of survival for every one of us. Neither will it speed up the process of reaching the Millennium Development Goals. To create sufficiency, we must ensure that a person facing obstacle in finance does not need to depend on finance for survival. In Thailand, His Majesty's philosophy of sufficiency economy proposes that low financial wealth does not necessarily prevent fish and rice from reaching everyone's plate. It might not look good in market terms, but for people who would be at least less distressed. If we can perhaps apply this notion onto the way we approach education, healthcare, use of natural resources, and most importantly, our decisions in daily life, perhaps we would be looking at a world that is less troubled and more fulfilled. The key is focusing on what we, as human beings, truly need, free from want of excess. And with the power of global connectivity, change can only start with each one of us.
Mr. Chairman, we are living in a world of disturbing contrasts and conspicuous inequalities. Aware of these grave challenges, the international community has come together to commit ourselves to international instruments that address issues affecting humanity. Today, we have come 2/3 of the way to reach the deadline of the MDGs. And in fact, we have even spent the past couple of weeks discussing how those goals could be met. In achieving those goals, we see that young people deserve a place in decision-making processes. Supporting youth participation by viewing young people as agents and beneficiaries is a sign of recognition of the significant contribution young people can make. On the issue of poverty, for example, youth can be portrayed as relevant actors who can put an end to the cycle of poverty once strategic investments in youth, such as education, are properly made. Youth development, especially through universal education, has thus been one of Thailand's top priorities for the past decade. At present, the Thai government has been pursuing a policy of providing government-sponsored free 15-year education for all. Furthermore, broader opportunities for vocational education or higher education has become much more attainable via financial aid from the government. In addition, Thailand has also strengthened its commitment toward the right to education for persons with disabilities, as Thailand is of the view that those who are in the most marginalized situations also have the potential to become an important driving force for social progress. Other vulnerable groups such as the displaced, ethnic groups, or even those without clear legal status have gained more access to education and social acceptance. They have now become recognized for all of their abilities. These achievements are in accordance with our aspirations to become a society for all. Mr. Chairman, Thailand understands that youth participation is crucial for development. Yet still, in Thailand and abroad, even though full and effective participation of young people is encouraged, for example, children and youth councils have long been initiated in national and local levels in many countries. An extensive number of youths all over the world still are not aware that the ability to shape the future of the world actually is in their hands. Ignorance especially restricts the development of young people's consciousness of the increasing inequalities and the challenges that others suffer. It is sadly not difficult to find a youth in higher education who simply has no idea about how they can contribute to the driving force that creates a better world. What needs to be done, therefore, is the implantation of social consciousness into young people's minds and enhance their global perspectives on issues of common concern to humanity. Focused attention on the situation around them should inspire them to take part in addressing the needs of those less advantaged around them, to achieve the MDGs, to develop their country, and to make a meaningful impact on the world around them. We thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I thank the